How's my day been so far? Well, it's only really just started an hour or so ago when I started streaming. I just woke up, lay in bed regretting not being able to sleep last night very well, and then started the stream. So pretty well, though. Pretty well. Find it funny the way people won't ask other people out. Well, I mean, there's no harm, really. And if that, the way I think of it, and I haven't asked out a girl in quite some time, but the way I think of it is, if you don't ask her out, then nothing's ever going to happen. You're just going to be, your usual nick is Din, short for Dennis. But since there is a billion plus Twitch names, there it's already, alright. I'm just going to call you Dennis then. But, here's the few real scenarios of asking a girl out. You ask her out, and she says yes, and then obviously that's the result you want. There's no need to go further into that. You ask her out, and she says no. Then, you asked her out, she said no, you can move on now. You'll probably, your crush will end or whatever, and you'll be able to move on to somebody else. And continue trying your luck. Or, you ask her out and she says, no, oh my god, you're so gross, blah blah blah, and makes fun of you and all that kind of stuff. Then you should be glad she said no, because if she's that kind of person, you want nothing to do with her. It's different in a work situation. If it's work, you just walk right up to them, tell them your name, and hold out your hand for a handshake. Well, remember, if you're like that for work, but you can't be like that just in social situations, you might just want to practice, doing that in a social situation. Just walk up to people and say, hi, I'm Remimi Primus. Internet dating, it's a wonderful thing. Well, there are a few different sides to that. First of all, let's read this book, and then I'll continue this discussion. Sir Emil's Journal. This journal is a record of failure. My failure. In the immediate sense, this is no doubt obvious. If you're reading this, you're probably standing over my body, slain in the depths of the shrine of the Crusader. Perhaps the gods granted me the gift of at least glimpsing the holy helm before I died, undeserving though I am. I must believe you are indeed a holy knight, following in my footsteps in the quest for the Crusader's relics. It is up to you, Sir Knight of my hopes, that I direct these words. May the account of my failures help you avoid my fate. Know that my failures encompass far more than my own death, which is of little account at the end of a long life. The high ideals of the Knights of the Nine, of service to the gods rather than men, of dedication to a higher purpose, these are my failures, as I shall record here. As I write this, the scratching of my pen the only sound in the empty priory, I am preparing to embark on my last quest for the helm of the Crusader. I know that my chance of success is small. I am too old for such a task. This quest should have been taken up by the next generation of Knights of the Nine, while Sir Caius and Sir Beric and the rest of us stayed behind and spun tales of our days of glory. Alas, there is no next generation. Sir Beric is my embittered enemy, and the rest of my old companions are all dead. There is only me, the last stubborn knight of a failed order. For many years I blamed Sir Beric for the dissolution of the order, but in my old age I have finally come to recognize my own part in these tragic events. I now believe that the seeds of our destruction were sown early, although the fruit did not ripen until late. Even in the first heady days, questing for the cuirass with Sir Caius and Sir Torolf, I set the pattern of personal glory. The cuirass was mine, and although it resided in the priory, I wore it into battle and accepted the acclaim of my fellows and the people for its recovery. And so it went. The sword and greaves recovered by Sir Beric became his personal arms, and the gauntlets to Sir Casimir. Why not? Should the holy weapons lie idle while there was evil to be vanquished? And who more fitting to carry them than the knight who had proved himself worthy by their recovery? So we told ourselves. So I told myself. But all that followed flowed from this. When Sir Beric wanted to take his relics with him to the war, who was I to forbid him? I, who had jealously considered the cuirass my own and none other's. Sir Beric was wrong, but I was wrong first, and the blame for the dispute over the relics falls first on me, the leader and founder of the knights, who should have set a higher example, but was instead first to claim a relic for my own. Sir Beric's later actions I will leave for others to judge, but let it be known that I do not blame him for the dissolution of the knights. If he would speak to me, I would tell him so myself. He and I are now all that are left of the original knights. The others are all dead, and I have dedicated myself to recovering their bodies and interring them in the priory undercroft, as is fitting for such holy warriors. Alas, that they did not have the leader that they deserved. Now it is time for me to depart on my quest for the helm. If you would follow in my footsteps tonight, know that the priory basement, at least, will remain inviolate. I have sealed the stairs, and only my ring will now open it. My brother knights will sleep in peace, in company with the cuirass, the only relic that remains in the Order's keeping. I say that, although the Order is officially dissolved, hoping and believing that the Knights of the Nine will one day be reborn. Perhaps you are the one to restore the Order. If so, go to the Priory in the West Weald. Use my ring to enter the vaults beneath the Priory House. There you will find the cuirass, and claim it for your own if you are a true knight. May the Nine guard and guide you. Farewell. Sir Emil, Priory of the Nine, the West Weald, County Skingrad, year 153 of the Septim Era. Damn. That was a damn good read. Anyway, so what I was going to say about, let's take his shield. About online dating. And I haven't actually online dated anyone. I'll read what the Methna said first. Then her cousin came on to you what you accepted with open arms. Then she told you your girlfriend. Wait. I went out with this girl in Scotland when I was younger. Then her cousin came on to me what I accepted with open arms. Then she told my girlfriend I just said it was dark and you look like her and she believed you. Wow, Methnus. That's scummy as hell. Personally, you don't even want to be some smooth talking player type guy. You just want to have a long relationship that develops into deeper levels over time. That's how you find true love. I agree, Dallas. I agree. Now, online dating, somebody mentioned. It's a double-edged sword, in my opinion. It's good because it gives you an opportunity to get to know somebody before you can, you know, even approach having sex with them, right? Which is a lot of relationships in real life seem to progress to sex much too quickly, in my opinion. But it's also bad because that opens that. Because you can't really get to know somebody over the internet, I don't think. You know, I think their body language and things like that, and their mannerisms and all that is very difficult to get to know over the internet. So I would think of internet dating as more of an introduction. Get to know somebody a little bit and see if you like them and want to at least try to develop some kind of relationship. But to go further than that would pretty much require real life interaction, I think. I don't know, you can make it work though. There are certainly exceptions to that rule. And people who can successfully date purely online for a long time before ever meeting in real life. You know, I just think in general, what I said is probably true. It's really hard to know yourself if you're ugly, and it's hard to ask anyone about it. It's really hard to know if you're ugly. I don't know. Don't worry about it. Your Steam account value is $263. Nice, Kevin. Too bad you can't sell Steam accounts. Or you probably can just give it away, or sell it without Valve hopefully finding out. But it's illegal to sell it, I think. You really fancy a lot of celebs, but you'll probably never go out with them if you had offers, since their personality probably sucks. Wait. So you're basically saying you're sexually attracted to a lot of celebrities, but since you think they're probably really shit people, you would never go out with them. I think that's totally wrong, Methodist. I mean, unless you're speaking about specific celebrities and you've seen interviews with them and they've demonstrated that they are pricks. Celebrities aren't really any different to anybody else. You know, some celebrities are more pompous and up themselves and things like that, just because they're, look at me, I'm so famous, blah blah blah. But, you know, there are a lot of really good people who are actors and musicians and very successful in those fields. It's just, you know, at the end of the day, it's just an art form or a job. It's not their entire being. Ugly and attractive are subjective. That's why you shouldn't be bothered if some girl thinks you're ugly, because another girl will think you're hot stuff. That's true. And also, as I said, it's really unimportant to me. So, you know, you're bound to find a girl who feels the same way. Assuming you're a guy. I didn't actually read or remember whether you said that or not, but you like Ariana Grande? I have no idea who that is. What you're trying to say is you can't judge a person on just looks. Looks help, but personality is a strong point. Yeah. Hey, Big Mac, welcome. I mean, I think you can ascertain a certain amount about a person from their looks. You know, mainly in their face. You can usually tell, or I can at least usually tell, if somebody's a complete asshole by looking at their face. Stuff like that. But even then, people might just have unfortunate looks and be really nice people, so it's usually worth having a conversation with them. Did I come from there, or did I come from there? I'm confused. Oh well, I'm obviously supposed to go down here. Oh, this is... Right, this is the original place. Okay, okay. Hey Zero Hero, welcome. Ultima has turned into Dr. Phil. Not quite. Not quite. If you say you don't go for looks, that's bullshit. Did he? Just because you consider looks quite important doesn't mean everybody does. You know, just because you feel one way doesn't mean everybody's the same way. Otherwise, being straight or gay wouldn't matter. Yeah, no. If you're not a 10 out of 10, then GTFO. Big Mac. Big Mac's a player, we all know. You're sort of bisexual, Methodist? I get that. You know, apparently sexuality is a spectrum. So you're not just fully straight, bisexual, or fully gay. You're, you know, usually somewhere in between. So, I don't know. I'm straight. Like, I would only ever have sex with a girl. But, like, I'm not, you know, if I touch a guy's butt or something, I'm not going to be like, ugh, you know. Yeah, just touched his butt. Huh, it's kind of funny. You know, and people say, like, how much money would it require for you to kiss a man or something? Wouldn't bother me that much. I wouldn't actually have sex with a guy, but I guess I'm like, you know, in between there. In between straight and bisexual, mostly towards straight though. So, yeah. Hey country boy, welcome. Funny how new people are coming in as I'm talking about that weird stuff, but you wish you were less ignorant about your feelings when you were young. You dated girls out of peer pressure while you were actually into guys the whole time. Yep. And I guess a lot of the time for a gay kid growing up, it'd be you know, quite confusing because their parents wouldn't tell them about being gay. They'd just say boys and girls get together and have babies and all that. They would never explain, especially in Germany, I guess, that guys could be together and girls could be together. You find some guys kind of good looking and shit, but you wouldn't go any further than that. Yeah, no, I totally get it, Methodist. Totally get it. So, like, I didn't say I like it, did he? I didn't say I like it. I didn't say I, you know. Yeah, it doesn't. I wouldn't terribly mind. I'm not going to purposefully go out and try to kiss some guys. But I'm just saying I'm much less, you know, averted to guys than some other people I've talked to. But I'm not gay. Nor am I bisexual, but, you know. As I say, on the spectrum. Yeah. Yeah, as Ramimi says, actually, now that I think of it, a lot of girls are more, as I just said, than a lot of the guys I talk to. You know, a lot of guys are totally, you know, almost homophobic in their treatment of other guys. Do I know if OP Nerd is going to be on? Not today. Today is his Monday, country boy. He streams on Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah. Girls are a lot more attractive than men, so lesbians are more common. I don't think that's true, Methodist. I don't think that's true. guys feel like they have to validate that they're not gay by saying, wait, if they say a guy is good looking. Yeah, that's true. You still like me for who I am, a top hat wearing all this crap. Thank you, Big Mac. You don't think what... Wait. See, I don't think that you're attracted to and what... Wait. The same thing at all, because lust isn't the only thing that matters. It's more than that. That's true, Talus. Physical attraction and emotional attraction, yeah. I get you, I get you. You're not really into either, but as long as you feel great things, you're happy? So, Zero Hero, I'm confused. Are you bisexual or asexual by that? Yeah, anyway, let's go to, while we're trying to discuss this stuff, let's go to the Priory of the Nine. With girls, they can tell each other, you look cute, but if a guy says that, instant gay. Yeah, there is a lot of that kind of culture. Hey, the Bow and Bullet, welcome. Damn, this helmet looks badass. Unfortunately, it doesn't let my hair out, but that's okay. If girls do it for fun and don't mind it, it's like, whatever, but a man does it, it's like... yeah. Actually, you know what, the one time I've seen a guy sort of act like a girl might, you know, playfully kiss a guy or something, and I wouldn't actually do that, by the way, but I'm just saying, because some girls would do that, kiss another girl as a joke or something, is in boxing. You know, they get real close to each other at the start of the match, trying to, you know, intimidate each other, and this guy just kissed the other boxer. Oh, it was funny. Asexual, but if you feel like doing it, you'll choose whoever is good at it. Huh. I don't think that's asexual then, is it? Because if you still want to have sex, but you're just not particularly inclined towards one particular gender, or even that into relationships, as you said, you'll just do it with whoever, sort of thing. I don't mean to say that as an insult, but you're just saying you don't really, you know, want to develop a relationship with just one person. That would be something else entirely, I think. I don't know. You won't go out with a girl unless you really like them. Well, I think going out with somebody is to determine whether you're going to like them a lot or not. Usually. You don't decide before ever going out with somebody whether you're going to marry. What conversation did you just log into? Oh, I don't know, an interesting one, certainly. About relationships and things like that. So Emil's ring fits perfectly into the diamond-shaped opening in the floor. Ah. Wow. Okay. Wait, what did Dallas say? Asexuals are completely averse to sex. Yeah. Oh, Zero Hero. As soon as we kind of explained what asexuality is versus what Zero Hero is, Ultima, you're fine. Think it's called pansexual then? I guess so. What you hate is people who will not talk to you just because you're not straight. Just because you're gay or whatever doesn't change the person. Yeah, I agree. You thought asexuality was just absence rather than aversion? Yeah, that's true, I think. I think that's true. It's just absence of sexual, you know, needs and desires. Rather than necessarily aversion. Looks like we have a bunch of horn dogs. Big Mac, please. So this is obviously the Undercroft, yep. Well, let's go down there. It's aversion from what you've read. I don't think... Like, I don't know the exact origin of the, like, A part of that word. But I get the feeling these guys are going to all get up and try to attack me. But, in other instances, the A just means lack of, rather than aversion to. Hey, Inspiron, welcome. I don't know if you're serious or not, but if you are, congratulations on being so open about it. I'm glad you can be. Hello.
By the strength and guns of the Nine, who comes before us upon this sacred ground, seeking the cuirass of the Divine Crusader? Step forward, adventurer, and face us each in honorable combat, For the vows we fail to revere in life, we shall uphold in death.
Yeah, I think Froggy's right about that.
No
Monks aren't
unworthy
asexual,
soul
they're just celibate.
shall lay hands upon this sacred artifact without the leave of the Knights of the Nine.
Well, I'm glad you're comfortable enough to come out and tell us that, Inspiron. And that's, as I said before, I try to make this stream quite inclusive. Everybody's quite comfortable here that they're not going to be, you know, discriminated against and harassed and things. But, what was I going to reply to? I can't remember anymore.
Sir Gregory, you are defeated. Sir Casimir, step forward.
That's what you're saying. People who literally don't even like or want to have sex, that's asexual. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they hate sex. That doesn't mean the sex disgusts them. Or anything. Big Mac, I think you're right about that.
You have bested Sir Casimir. Now face Sir Ralphus.
Hey Deviant Fish, welcome. Sorry, I missed your greeting there in amongst all the conversation about sexuality and relationships.
Sir Ralphus, you have fallen. Step back and
Good
let the
God, Diddy.
challenge
Good
continue.
God.
Sir Henrik, come forward and prove yourself. Ha! Ah!
Place your bets. Diddy, please. You're using aversion in the sense of not liking to do it. Like you have an aversion to vegetables. That doesn't mean you loathe passionately all vegetables, just that you don't like eating them.
Yet you remain.
Okay, I'm starting to see what you mean now.
Perhaps Sir Caius shall test your true mettle.
Yeah, I think aversion is more than that, though. I think aversion is usually considered like, you know, a disgust at something, not just an absence of a want for it, you know. I don't know. Like I would say with your vegetable thing, you don't like vegetables, but you probably also, you know, rather than just being uncaring about vegetables, you actually don't like them. You dislike them.
Show a fury of faith that I have not seen in centuries.
You actually actively dislike them rather than just having no desire for them. It's not like if you ate a vegetable, I don't know, it'd be this meaningless thing. You'd actually hate it, I guess, or something, you know? I don't know. Do asexual people really dislike having sex, or they just have no desire for it? I don't know. Strongly psycho still okay, but what you were saying then, most asexuals do strongly dislike sex. I haven't actually met anybody who's asexual, so I really can't comment on the accuracy of that.
The ferocity of the North.
Methodist, you're happy you can be open, but sadly you can't be open to all people like school or family. Yeah, I know that's a big problem. That's why as I say, I'm glad you can just be open and tell all of us here, and know that if anybody tries to insult you about it, they'll be the one in trouble, not you.
You have stood against the Knights of the Nine and lived. However, the final test is upon you. Ready yourself, Sir Knight, and face
Oh,
me.
Sir Emil, the guy who I found the corpse of. You've met a few. Oh, did he? Yep. Yep.
Sir Knight, in 300 years, none have stood against us and lived. Step forward and claim what is yours by right. May your faith be true.
Damn, Ramimi. So I guess that means you're asexual. You could... Wait, does that mean you could not have sex your entire life and it wouldn't bother you? You said you don't like sex at all. You're not even interested. I feel like I have a question there, but I just, you know... It's difficult to even understand, I guess, for me. I don't know. Not that I'm some nymphomaniac, but... In fact, I've never even had sex before, but... I'd certainly like to. Not just with some random person, though, of course, which is why I haven't yet. But, yeah. It's interesting, the different perspectives and feelings and things. You could tell your mother, at least. She put it aside at first as just a phase. And then you walk down the stairs the next morning wearing, you know, arseless chaps and, you know, a big pink wig and stuff. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. It's like if a guy was talking to you on one side and a girl was talking to you on the other, you would just be like, nope, I don't understand what that means. I don't have an emote, Inspiron. OP Nerd has an emote of me. So that makes me feel pretty special. Off subject, people say how much smoking and drinking is addictive, so why do people try it? You've always said if you never try it, you never miss it. That's true, Methnus. It's a good perspective to take, I think. I think Ramimi Primus is a girl, Dallas. So she probably does have low testosterone. She's a girl. Would have looked at... Oh, algae. Oh, algae. I've defeated the ghostly guardians of the Cuirass of the Crusader. I can now claim it for my own. I've recovered the Cuirass of the Crusader. I should talk to the ghosts of the former Knights of the Nine to see if they can aid me in my quest for the remaining Crusaders' relics. Opie has an emote of me because he thinks I'm sexy. Yep. We're all actually, all the Twitch geeks except for Diddy. Actually, Diddy's the most. All the Twitch geeks are actually in the closet homosexuals. In case you didn't know. Even Mr. Jughead87, who has a wife and a son. Even him. And especially Diddy, who is the most vehemently anti-gay. He's the most, you know, outwardly straight person there is in Twitch Geeks. He's the most gay. No, it's all made up. Don't worry, guys. It's all made up. Don't worry, ladies. Ladies of the Twitch Geek fandom. Alright, let's put on the Cuirass of the Crusader then. You don't really like that philosophy entirely. What philosophy was that? To each their own. Some things are objective. In face, a great many things are... In fact. Well, we have different views on that, Dallas, but... No one has ever seen Diddy's face? Yes. Yes. He streamed with webcam like once, maybe twice. Cuirass of the Crusader. Fortify restoration. Normal weapons? Resist normal weapons? Does that mean unenchanted weapons? And maybe not Daedric and stuff as well? I don't know. Fortify health. An interesting cuirass. Oh, yeah. But since your car accident, your head's gotten fat. Along with the rest of you. Yeah, it has. It has. A little bit. Alright, let's put on all our gear. Let's put on all the badass gear. I like this stuff. Boots of Spring Hill Jack, rather. The boots especially are hilarious. Did anyone watch Stephen Hawking's time travel documentary? I have not. I didn't know he had a documentary. Let's put on... So we have the Black Band. Let's also put on the Grand Ring of Aegis. Although this is really good as well. The Grand Ring of Aegis shield 18%. I think the Black Band is not as good. Let's do the Grand Ring of Aegis, and then see if there's another ring that we want. Ring of Happiness? That's pretty good too. Ring of Lordship is not bad, so Emil's ring is pointless. Alright, I think we've got... Do we have a necklace on? Cruelty's Heart. Yep, that's good. As soon as your legs heal, you'll be getting back into shape. Good. Good, Diddy. Oh, Froggy. Oh, Froggy. You can never be skinny, your frame is so huge. Yeah, some people are just built in different ways. I don't think I would be a good skinny person either. I don't think I could, you know, really achieve skinniness. I don't know. I'll probably always either be, I don't know, broad in the shoulders and somewhat muscular, but also with some fat. I don't think I'll ever be too lean, but I don't know, alright muscles and things as well, so healthy. It's just important that you're healthy for your own body type.
By the 9, I've not seen such strength. Could you be... No, you cannot. You are simply a noble knight.
I need help finding something. I have the helm.
You completed the quest that I could not. I'm glad that my death
Zero
at
hero.
least served to lead you here, as I had hoped.
There's nothing wrong with that, Zero Hero. Tell me about the Knights of the Nine.
The original Order of the Nine was founded with the intention of safekeeping the Crusaders' relics. In life, we failed at this task. In death, we seek to preserve what little we accomplished while we wait for one to come and finish what we began.
Tell me about Siberic.
One of the mightiest knights of my day. It was a great boost to the Order's prestige when he joined. Unfortunately, he and I did not see eye to eye on certain matters. He left the Order during the War of the Red Diamond and never returned.
Yeah, Kevin, that's actually a relatively important thing to recognize, because there are quite a lot of people who look, you know, relatively healthy, and they're kind of skinny looking and all that kind of stuff, and they're not overweight and stuff, but are actually overweight. And if you are, as you describe, with no muscle and it's just fat, you should probably start working out a little bit. Building some muscle and losing some fat. Because if you're actually, you know, a skinny looking person, except you've got absolutely no muscles, it's not healthy to be that way. Not healthy. And thank you, Riperi. Yeah, almost at 1,500 followers. It's pretty damn awesome. You're not scared of death, you need to take death in to really live. I'm not scared of death, and in fact, I'm glad that life is not an infinite thing. If we lived forever, to me, everything would just lose all meaning. I don't know. If it's gonna go on and on and on and on and on and on forever, what does each moment actually matter? You know, why should I bother doing anything now when I've got the rest of eternity to do it? You know. But since I've got limited time alive, you know, every second counts, sort of thing. Even if it counts for nothing in the end, you know, even if all I'm gonna leave behind is some small impact on the earth, you know, maybe I will have made a few lives better and hopefully didn't make any lives worse. Maybe I will have just entertained some people and had a good time. And people will forget about me, you know, pretty soon after I die. But even then, I think every second that you live is more important, because once you die, there are no more. So, I'm not scared of death, really. I kind of embrace it, I guess. Anyway, let's talk to Sir Caius.
How may I serve you, Commander?
Tell me about the Knights of the
In
Nine.
death, we continued the work that escaped us in life. The relics must still be guarded, for someday they shall be needed once more.
Tell me about Siberic.
Alas, my old comrade is not among us here. We do not know why his spirit did not join us here to guard our last relic.
Maybe it's guarding
We were
his.
estranged in life, but I had hoped that in death we could be reconciled. For my part, I now know that I am largely to blame for the ruin of the old order. Sir Amiel takes too much upon himself. I will say no more. May your sword
What you think
strike
about a lot
true.
is, do you get burned and destroy your brain, or do you get in a coffin and get eaten, in which case your brain will decay anyway? Because what if the brain lives even when the body is dead? I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that your brain lives on after your body is dead.
I wish to see you succeed where I failed. I was on the path to the boots of the Crusader, but died before I reached them. Do you wish to learn what little I know?
You know, the brain functions on electricity, basically. It's electrical activity. And when you're dead, body or brain, whether you're brain dead or you're entirely dead, your brain it absolutely stops functioning in any you know, measurable way. So to say it would still be alive in a physical sense is wrong. Now, if you believe in certain things like souls and the afterlife and that kind of stuff, then maybe you would live on after you're dead. But then your brain probably wouldn't matter because it's physically stopped functioning anyway. So I don't think that should be a concern, really. But you know, if you want to make sure you get buried or treated in a certain way after you're dead, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? As long as you've got the money to fund whatever it is, like the, you know, embalming and all that stuff. Yeah. If that's what you need to do to make yourself feel comfortable with death, then yeah. You consider cryogenic preservation? See, that's something I would consider. Being cryogenically frozen and then thawed out one day. Not necessarily to continue living forever, but just to see what it's like. I don't know, but in a way, I'd be happier to just die, you know, at the end of my life, having experienced my short little moment in time, affected the lives I have and lived the life I have, and that be the end of it. But it might be nice to wake up one day and glimpse into the future, and then finally die. I don't know, something like that might be cool. Now they can check, but in the old days they sometimes made mistakes, hence bells in coffins. Yep, Saved by the Bell. I agree. They put the bells in the coffins so that you could ring the bell and let people know you're still alive. Thank you, StrongSide07, for the follow. You can't die, you drank from the fountain of youth. Or actually, you said you drank the fountain of youth. You drank the entire fountain, so we're all screwed except for you. Thank you, Gavin, for doing that. Saving us from immortal torture. This conversation fits so well with the game location at the moment. Well, it kinda does, yeah. Kinda does. Did I finish Shivering Isles? Yes, Mikey Shiloh. Tell me more.
I cannot tell you exactly how to find the boots, for that will be up to Kinnereth. I can tell you to seek out her priests, though. West of the Imperial City, on the edge of the Great Forest, is a shrine. You will find them there, and they will tell you what you need to know.
All right, thank you. That's a nice way to look at it, Froggy. May your story involve much world domination. Knights of the Nine, tell me about them.
Complacency proved to be our greatest enemy. The service of the Nine requires eternal vigilance.
Welcome, Uno. Glad you could make it. No worries. I'm happy you've managed to get your second monitor set up. Now, am I already following you or not? Unorthodox. Where's the follow? Okay, I'm already following you, Unorthodox, so I look forward to hopefully catching your stream at some point. I don't know when you'll be streaming, but if you'd like to let us know when, I'd be most interested in checking it out. And please, for the love of all that is good, don't play shitty games. I swear. Now, I'm not going to point out anybody in particular, but I follow like a lot of people. I follow a lot of people, and some of them are as guardians, and some of them are just people in the chat who I'm like, oh, you stream? Let me follow you. And I'm interested in seeing these people's streams, but good God, do they stream shitty games. Like, it's okay to just stream whatever games you want, if that's the kind of stream you want to have. You don't want to have like a big successful stream in the traditional sense of getting lots of viewers and all that kind of stuff, maybe making a career out of it. If you just want to have a good time, play the games that you love, and maybe have 1 or 2 people there with you to enjoy it, or even up to like 20 people doing that kind of thing, it's pretty realistic. But that's okay. But if you actually want me and other people to come and check out the stream, please don't play games from 30 years ago that nobody has any interest in. Because I go through my following list and it's just full of people playing these games like I've never heard of, or I know were from like 15 years ago and I have no interest in watching again. You have an idea on how to pull off non-destructive cryogenic preservation of the entire human body, but it might require progress in nanotechnology. Yes, I do like Pokemon MMO player. So my version of shit is different from other people's shit. Well, Pokemon is still relevant. Let's say that. Don't play irrelevant games. Pokemon is still a relevant genre. Oh, not genre, you know, game series. And it's still relatively popular. So I would say streaming that is alright. And streaming Oblivion because it's still the Elder Scrolls, you know, that's still relevant. But streaming, gosh, I can't even think of them because they're so irrelevant. It's just pointless. I played the first Elder Scrolls and that's from 30 years ago. Well, I just explained that, so there you go. Anyway, did I talk to Sir Gregory?
Greetings, Sir Knight.
Tell me about the boots.
The boots have been guarded by Kinnereth herself for the longest time. Sir Junkin went after them and never returned.
Well, MMO player, I don't think Barbie is relevant to many people here on Twitch. There aren't many 6-year-old girls on Twitch. But there are plenty of Pokemon fans.
If you are true to the teachings of Julianus, it may be possible for you to find the shield of the Crusader.
So I guess you're saying in your personal opinion Starbound and Minecraft are shit games, MMO player, but as I said, they are entirely relevant. And there are plenty of Starbound and Minecraft fans on Twitch. Not so much Starbound, really. For a while there was, but now it's died down a fair bit. There's probably still some big streams playing it. But, Diddy is a 6-year-old girl? My eyes have been opened. What do you mean?
When the order crumbled, I set out on my own. After years of searching, I found the shield and brought it to Fort Bulwark for safekeeping. With the help of a few trusted friends, I began work to keep the shield safe for all eternity. I never saw my work finished. I died defending the fort from those who would take and misuse the shield.
Damn.
I never saw our work finished. I trust that the others carried on without me.
This guy's kind of a badass. Tell me where Fort Bulwark is.
It lies in the southeast of Cyrodiil, near the Black Marsh border. If all went according to plan, it should be very well guarded
Which
now.
means they won't let me take the shield.
Believe in yourself, and use your knowledge wisely. You will pass through unharmed, and the shield will be yours.
Okay, see you later, Bone Bullet. I'm glad you've enjoyed your time here, and I'll, well, have a good one. Don't say that, Kevin. You wait. What? Oh, that he's a 6-year-old girl. Well, it's a good way to weed them out, then, Diddy. Find out who the sex offenders are by saying we have a 6-year-old girl they can PM. When it's really Diddy who'll go and, you know, beat the shit out of them. Alright. Let's talk to the next guy.
You have my tribute, Sir Knight. In 300 years, none have passed the gauntlet. In 300 years, we have never known hope.
Indeed.
But for the first time, it seems that someone may succeed where we have failed. I see in you the chance to redeem our souls and restore the Order. And now, I must ask you to press forward where I could not. I must ask you to face the challenge of Zenithar.
Mithras, what is the link? How did you fail?
I was arrogant and foolhardy. I sought personal glory. I placed my own will and my own lust for fame over the will of the Nine. In facing the challenge of Zenithar, I failed. I tried dozens, no, hundreds of times to reach the mace. I fell each time, and
Right,
each
Perry.
time I awoke in the chapel, I leapt again. I tried to enlist the help of the other knights, but none would come to my aid. The inscription says to walk in the faith, but even now, I do not know what this means.
It means don't jump, just walk. What must I do?
Below the chapel of Zenithar in Leowyn, there is a shrine to the great craftsman, Saint Calidus. Those seeking the mace must pray before the shrine. When you bow, you will receive a vision, or perhaps not. it is unclear. The priest saw that my body never moved, but it felt so real. You will see the mace, separated from you by a great chasm. The chasm represents your doubt. Your faith must be your guide across it.
Mythness, you can PM me that link because it sounds humorous, but you can't post it in the chat. I don't like links being posted in the first place, and I'm not going to stop the stream to watch a video, nor do I want other people stopping the stream to watch a video. But anybody like Kevin obviously wants it. You can PM it to him if you like. My faith will guide me.
This is what I know. As I said, my faith was weak. I did not understand the test, and I fell from the platform each time I tried to cross. I have told you all that I know. All that is left is for you to prove yourself more worthy than I. If you seek the mace, travel to Leowin's chapel, kneel at the shrine in the Undercroft, and let your faith in the Nine be the salvation of us all.
Alright.
Walk with
And what about you? I've spoken with the Ghosts of the Knights of the Nine and learned where several parts of the armor of the Crusader are hidden. As you return when I have collected them all. So what
I
about this
know
guy?
where you may find the gauntlets of the Crusader, for I was the one who lost them. Though
Thank
many
you,
know
MMO
where
player.
they are still
I'll see you later.
lost. I believe there is something you must do in order to retrieve them. Would you listen to my tale and learn of the gauntlet's fate?
Sure. By the way, guys, let me quickly make a definition here. I look right now, and I see 32 viewers, and in my Hex chat, 34 people logged into chat. What this likely means is there are 2 people who have the stream paused and have gone to do something else. Now, some people say, like Diddy just said Diddy probably knows better, but some people say, I'm off to lurk, and then they pause the stream. They say, hey, I'll leave the stream open for you to give you an extra viewer, and they pause the stream and go do something else. And you guys don't have to do that, by the way. You don't have to leave the stream open when you go do other stuff to give me a viewer. It's appreciated. But, you know, if you've got limited internet or you just don't want to do it, it's fine. Just close the stream. But lurking is not pausing the stream and going off to somewhere else. Because when you pause the stream, I don't get that viewer anyway. So what's happened here is there's like 2 people who have the stream paused, but they're still logged into the chat. So if you do want to give me that extra viewer, or if you want to, you know, lurk in the stream, whatever you want to call it, you need to leave the stream unpaused. It needs to keep playing to count as a viewer. Otherwise, it just, you know, it gives me 1 extra person in the chat, I guess, which does nothing. And, yeah. Just so you guys know. Just so you guys know what's going on. Because I think some people think that it's actually helping when they pause the stream and go do something else. It does nothing. But muting the stream, of course, and then going and doing something else does help a little bit. Anyway, please tell me.
When the Order fractured, I followed Sir Beric into war, taking the gauntlets with me. When it was over, I returned to Cyrodiil. I attempted to return
gravy,
to the
mistress.
service of the Nine, but the war had changed me. I no longer had sympathy for the weak or pity for the suffering. In the brief time I was there, I did more to hurt the chapel than help it. It was there that I was cursed.
Cursed? What do you mean?
A beggar who came to the chapel each day for help tried my patience 1 too many times. I lost my temper and struck him. My blow landed harder than I had intended, and he fell to the floor dead, killed in the very chapel of the God of Mercy.
Wow.
I left the chapel at once, of course, but the damage was done. I was weak, constantly weary, and lacked the energy to do almost anything.
Well, what about the gauntlets?
Ah, yes. As proof of the deed, when I struck the poor man, the gauntlets slipped right off my hands and fell to the floor. Heavy as stone, they would not move. None could lift them. I suspect they lie there still, in Coral's chapel. You must prove to Stendarr you are worthy to lift the gauntlets once more. Seek out the priests in Coral. Perhaps they can help you.
You have chat open on your PC and my stream open on your Xbox. You don't know if that is causing it to show up like that or not. Real War, welcome. If there's no chat on Xbox, then having it on Xbox would give me one viewer count, right? And then having it on your computer, but the stream paused, so you're just using chat, would not give me an extra viewer there. So I'd get one viewer, and you'd be able to chat and all that kind of stuff. So I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be absolutely fine. And I'm glad, Uno, although, you know, my stream right now is not in HD or anything,
May
so
your sword strike true.
it'll look much, much better when I move out of this bus and manage to get better internet. Because right now, my internet is absolute garbage, but it's the best that's available in my current position. When I move out of here is when I'll be able to greatly improve my internet and my stream quality. That's really going to be the next big jump in stream quality. Until that time, I can't really do that much to improve my stream. Other than layout changes and you know, a better CPU would help. Although my CPU is already pretty good. Now, let's go to one of these places. Let's go to the Chapel of Sendar and Coral and try to get the gauntlets by proving ourselves a merciful and selfless person. What is my upload speed? 1.0 megabits per second. You guys can see, by the way, I added it down below the stream. There's a graphic from speedtest.net showing my internet bandwidth.
What's going on with you?
I saw a mud crab a couple of days ago. Ugly little.
Well, that's good, Uno. I'll look much better when I move out of the bus. You don't know if you can handle it. Well, thank you, Froggy. I'm sure you will be able to, though. You'll have to find a way to handle it. And welcome, Joey Carrico, by the way. Sorry, I didn't realize you had just gotten here until just now. So the gauntlets are right here. Gauntlets are too heavy to move. So let's talk to this guy.
Good to see you.
I have
What
no idea,
brings
Rince
you
Braun.
here, my son?
The gauntlets of the Crusader.
Ah, yes. The gauntlets have been here for ages. I know only the basic story behind them. They're more of a novelty these days.
Oh, that's
My
unfortunate.
only real involvement with them these days is keeping the youngsters from hurting themselves trying to pick the gauntlets up. What is your interest in them, if I may ask?
I'd like to know their story.
Yes, well, I don't know the whole thing. A great many years ago, a knight of the old order did something terrible, and the gauntlets just fell off. They dropped to the floor right where he stood, and no one could lift them. It was a sign of the curse placed upon this knight by Stendar, I think. That curse still lingers on today, in fact. Poor Kellen.
Who's Kellen?
Oh, why, he's a descendant of that very knight from so
Wow.
long ago. The curse has affected his family all these years. He suffers from it now. He came here from Hammerfell seeking a cure, but, well, there's really nothing that can be done for him, I think. He may know more of the story than I. Perhaps you should speak with him, if he's feeling well enough.
Damn. I think we have to lift this curse.
Ask Kellen about the curse.
Wait, is he really in the Undercroft? Or in the Chapel Hall? That's interesting. I thought he would live in his own, you know, estate. Anyway, guys, it looks like it's been 2 hours. So it's time for me to take a quick 5-minute break. So thank you guys so much for watching up until this point. And during the break, there will be a few trailers for my fellow Twitch geeks. Hey, Anal Butt Monkey. Sorry, you've just come at a break. And Devlin Max, you've just come when I'm about to take a break. I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. So I shall see you all back after this quick break. Where is my... Hold on. There it is. And mute the game. And activate break time.